What is going on? Dang, it's been a while, and this is a very uh, impromptu type of live stream, so I'm not expecting people to really jump in. There's no notice given, just me realizing I haven't done one of these in so long that I figured I needed to make sure I still have my skills in live streaming. So I'm out here trying to test this stuff out again. It's been so long. I feel like ever since I moved into the new house, I've put all this aside and just been trying to get settled in. So that's where I've been, more or less. It's hot in this room. Look at this. Oh my God. But yeah, I've been busy getting myself situated and going from there. I've gone in and out of thinking about, should I make videos? Should I not? Do people even care? You go through these things when you're producing these kind of videos. So I kind of been in the background seeing what was going on with a lot of these channels and a lot of the stuff that's been popping in and out. And it's a lot of the same old garbage, right? A lot of drama, man, and I don't miss it. So part of me being away has been really good for me and my insanity, because golly, I pop back in for a little bit and you just start hearing all the drama again. So it is what it is. A lot of people thrive in that arena. I'm not one of those. I could care less. When that stuff starts really being more and more pronounced in the community, I'll take a step back. So yeah, I've seen some of that stuff. Let me see. I've been seeing some awesome movies. I've been kind of putting together some stuff in the background, trying to figure out if I'm going to produce any videos on it. But I have been picking up information, doing some research on some things. I'll probably eventually start producing some more stuff here on this channel because I have been away for a while. But you get into this, what I would call this, it gets to a point where how much more new material really is there? I'm not one of those channels that is trying to become YouTube famous. You know what I'm saying? Not at all. You can see some of those channels really trying hard to promote themselves and stay on top and weekly videos. Not that, first of all, not that that's a bad thing at all, because a lot of the information is good. But I feel at times some people are just over promoting themselves to, like, I don't know. It gets, when you do this for a while, and I'm not new to this at all. You start seeing the trends of people who want to be, looked up, or trying to get to that top, while other people are already there, trying to chase that dream. But as far as me, I could care less, man. If people watch my channel, that's great. If they don't, whatever. Nobody's holding the gun to anybody's head. So I always appreciate the people who do stick around. But yeah, it gets stale after a while. Like, just constantly being in the negative, sometimes it gets boring. It gets me down. So sometimes I gotta take a step back and miss you guys. You know what I mean? Because it does get lonely out there when you're constantly being, like, just reading comments that I get. It's just, some of it is stupid, and just globe believers who you could tell they never even looked into the subject. They're just reacting to a thumbnail or maybe the first 2 minutes of a video, not really watching anything. I do want to give a shout out to Russian Vids. I did see this video he posted a little while ago, where he was in a debate with some guy who clearly doesn't know what he's talking about, and he exposed the heck out of him. That was awesome, man. That was good to see, because that guy just looked clueless. And it's stuff like that that gets me fired up again, makes me want to make these videos. So yeah, I was watching that. Shout out to Russian Viz for that. Whatever you guys think of the whole situation, if you think he's a agent or whatever, this whole mentality, scared of people, you know what I'm saying? Like, take the good with the good, take the bad, and then, don't listen to it or just ignore it. Sometimes we can get into too much of a conspiracy mindset that you're scared because you heard a rumor about this guy. I'll be honest, I'm guilty of that. I start like, oh my God, this guy's this and this guy's that. You know what? At the end of the day, just follow your gut and do you. Don't let somebody else, no matter how big their channel is, influence you into, thinking that so and so's bad. Like, if they present you with information, they give you good information to back it up, go further. Do your own research and figure out if that's true or not. Don't just take their word, because you never know. People can be wrong. But, back to Russian Vids. Man, that dude crushed that dude. The guy wanted to debate somebody, yet not knowing the dimension of the earth. He didn't know anything. He just crushed them. That was fantastic. I just heard, I was listening right before. I'm on my lunch break. That's why this is kind of just thrown together. But I was listening to Robbie Davis and Nate Wolf. He just posted on, Nate just reposted the interview where they had a testimony of this woman, and I'm sorry, I forgot her name. But it was really cool to hear, about how she was supposed to be doing some research on a particular topic. It led her into doing some research on Genesis 6, which then led her into some Rob Skiba material, which led her to some flat earth stuff. And she did the same thing most of us do, which is just completely discard it and be like, oh man, this guy was a pretty good researcher, but he wants to talk flat earth. And then she went to another video, found more information about the New World Order, and then that guy started talking about flat earth, and then she had the same like response. But then, after a few days, she started thinking about it, like, why is it that these two... What's up, buddy? Why greater? Oh, that's my alarm. Sorry about that. That's means I gotta be going to work pretty soon. So back to the story. Why greater 750? What's up, man? Or gal? Sorry. Back to the story. So she realized, like, there's two good researchers I just came across, and yet I'm dismissing them because they want to talk about flat earth. So she realized, like, let me at least look into what they have to say, because obviously they were giving me good information on these other topics. Let's see what this is all about. And boom, when she finally got out of her own way, she realized that biblical earth is truth, and the Bible does support it. So her testimony was really cool. It was really good to hear. So shout out to Robbie and Nate for having her on. I love hearing those kind of testimonies because it's true. I mean, we get bombarded so much. Like, I can't tell you last time I actually went to church. I mean, it was a couple months ago. But I just don't connect with the churches no more. And I know a lot of people feel like that. The only time I really go is because my wife is not on the same page as me when it comes to a lot of these truths. Now, she does know a lot of these truths and she supports a lot of these truths, but she still hasn't fully jumped on board with biblical cosmology. And there are other topics that she's just not on board. And I get it, as far as, unless you're called to really look into these things, it's like you have a veil over your face and you really just can't figure out what's what. It's hard to get the discernment. That's why I'm so thankful to God that he kind of gave me some sort of discernment and gave me I didn't fight it too much. I was just enough for me to be like, you know what? I have to look into this because I respect some of these guys and what they had to do. And once I actually got out of my own way like that lady did, just like all of us, you realize, like, this now thinking about it, I know I'm all over the place, but now thinking about it, like, how crazy is it that people actually believe they live on a ball, like a wet ball flying through this infinite vacuum of space? It just sounds so bizarre now. And I know it was the other way around. How could you think, you can live on a flat earth? But it's because we had the wrong understanding of what the hell that was all about, right? We had this picture of space and the pancake and infinite flying, and we just had the wrong idea of what flat earth was really about. What was, let me see what this question is. I got to get up to it. There's a film emotionless because Earth moves without a current. Why? Earth moves causes a force drags the Earth. Let's see. FM is the force, right? No accuracy. He's doing some heavy mathematics right now. You don't feel the Earth not moving because it's not moving. That's as simple as that. We don't need mathematical equations. We don't need anything else to prove that the Earth does not move. It's simple as that. The Earth doesn't move because it doesn't move. That's it. You don't have to go further than that. No one's ever been into this quote unquote outer space. That's another thing that when we first get into this, is we kind of start mixing up cosmologies. You really have to go back and throw all that stuff out and start from square one and just realize, like, the cosmology that we've been given by our authorities is completely and utterly ridiculous. It doesn't even support itself. It crumbles anytime. Owen Benjamin's been doing a great job as he's progressing and learning more and realizing. In the beginning, he was supposed to debate. Who was it? I think he was supposed to debate. Oh man, the guy in Thailand. I forget his name because I haven't really watched his material in a while. But yeah, he was supposed to debate him, and he actually started looking into it. He wanted to defend the globe Earth, and he wanted to just wipe the floor clean with this guy. And next thing you know, when he actually starts looking into it, as any honest person would, you really start seeing all the holes that has to. It doesn't provide anything. There's no proof. It's just equations that are fabricated. Mathematics does not equate to reality. Mathematics equates to equations, and that's it. Equations do not mean reality. Yes, they can form a basis where reality can be explained, but that doesn't make it true. And we grown into a system that is definitely more that cares more about equations that lead to nothing over reality that leads to truth, with your own eyes, your own senses. We're really living in a world where they're starting to push. What was that movie? Ready Player One is really going to get to a point where we're going to be in that situation where you're going to be like, goggles on, you're living in this virtual reality, and that world's going to become more real to us than the physical world that we're in, because they just keep bombarding us with saying that, you can't trust anything. You can't trust yourself. You can't trust your eyes. You can't trust this person. You can't trust that person. But at the same time, they want you to trust them, because they got their lab coats and they feel good about themselves. Well, honestly, it's nonsense. Let me see what this guy is writing. I don't know if he's a troll or not. I can't see it yet. To believe that the Earth is flat, you need to. Okay, what? I prove that physics teacher that the Earth is flat with mathematical equations. Anyways, the Earth is flat. No, I get you, bro. I think that that's good. So let me see. He's saying that he's proved, yes, and that is when you use it. That's when you use it. When you're talking to someone who you need to show them with their own belief system, which is mathematics and equations stuff, to prove to them that, hey, yeah, I can prove that the Earth is flat with your own equations. I can definitely do that. That's when you use it. But the common man, you don't need to use that. You don't need to go and do a lot of investigating as far as trying to prove it with math. Like, you really don't. That's why this thing has taken off, because the common man, once he gets past himself, he fully understands the truth behind it. How silly is it to think, oh, you can live on a ball, but you can't live on a flat, motionless plane? Like when you really hear someone say that, like think about that. You can live on a ball, but you can't live on a flat motionless plane. Like that doesn't even make sense. Like if you actually say that out loud, people are gonna people will realize how crazy that sounds. It's the latter. You can live on a flat motionless plane, but there's no possible way you can live on a ball, right? So yeah, I mean, that is how simple it is. And that's why so many people, honestly, this thing is bigger than within these last 4 years, this thing has gotten so much bigger. Cool little story. So in the process of me moving and everything, I got into, years built up working at a certain place for a while. I decided it just came to a halt. I was working at this place for close to 10 years. I was at a barbershop, and I ended up leaving. This is at the same time as me moving. Financially, it's still kind of crushing, but I trust in the Lord, and He's been providing for me and my family. So it's been really cool. It's just like when you rely on yourself so much, you forget that He's there to do these things for you, and it's hard. You like lose some of that faith because you don't put yourself in a situation where you're really leaning on Him to provide for you. Well, long story short, I'm no longer at a barbershop that I was at for close to 10 years. I started at a new place, and it's much closer to my job. I was working close to 30 minutes away, which I was making that drive, and it was just, I got tired of that drive. A lot of things happened, but at the end of the day, I'm at this new place. I had a friend of mine who was working there, and I talked to him, and it was quick transition. But I also, in having all this, I'm like, man, I got a whole new audience to talk about biblical cosmology and stuff like that. And lo and behold, what do you know? It wasn't but maybe a couple weeks into working in this place, flat Earth becomes a topic, and the owner of the shop recently sent a hey, friend me on Facebook, and I'm on and off with Facebook, but he friends me on Facebook, and oops, I gotta go after the story, and he so I'm like, he's gonna find out, like, not that I'm hiding or I'm nervous, but it's at the same time, like, I don't know how people I'm in a new place and stuff like that. But I said, screw it, it is what it is. I'm not gonna hide who I am. Boom. And somehow flat Earth becomes a topic in the barbershop, right? And I was just kind of listening, seeing where people's heads are at, and most of the barbers, it became where my friend who was there, he was like, "What you listening to?" And I was just like, "Yo, I'm listening to some flat Earth stuff." So I'm like remembering the story, and he goes, "Yo, you crazy, bro." So as he's walking off, because my station is in the back, because it's in the front, he's like, "Yo, you're crazy believing the Earth is flat." And then it got into a conversation where the whole shop was talking about it, and then the owner was like, "No, you know what? Carlos convinced you." And I was like, "Oh snap!" I guess he's been checking out some of the stuff that I posted on Facebook and stuff. So we got into it, and bro, I would say 95% of the people that were in there were 100% down and understood the Earth being motionless and a plane. You know what I mean? And I was blown away, like, wow, this is crazy. There was this old dude there too, and he was talking about, like, how's it possible to do this? And people were like, oh my. So it was just cool to see. I wish I took my phone out and recorded it. It would have been awesome. Actually, it was just something that happens. So it was cool to see, and what it did for me, it made me realize, like, this thing is bigger than I think most people are, understand it. It's much bigger than we fully give it credit to. So it's one of those things that you should be, the authorities are not going to be happy. That's the end of it for right now. Again, this was an impromptu live stream. I'm sweating in this room right now. I have the AC off for whatever reason. But I'm going to end it right now because I got to get back to work. I was at lunch break, and I literally have to get back there. Good thing I live pretty close to my job right now. So, guys, thank you for everyone who tuned in. I really appreciate it. I promise there'll be more heads up next time. And my man Greater 750. Thanks for putting some of this stuff down on the comments. I appreciate you. He said, I woke up 14 people in 2 months. That's great, man. That's what it takes. You know, it's not being afraid to speak out, and just keep going from there. But guys, thank you for tuning in. I will see you guys around. If this is your first time stopping into the channel, subscribe or don't. It doesn't matter. You know, I do these videos for people who actually want to be around. So see ya later.